What is up, everybody? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Got a live for you guys. Got an intro video. We're going to talk about it. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up or thumbs down. Make yourself known at some point in the show. Want to thank my moderators for being here. Thank you. Want to thank all the new members, old members, OGs, everybody. All the subscribers, new, old, especially those that are enjoying their Martin Luther King Monday as much as I have been. So West Coast people, East Coast people, different country people. Again, hello to everybody. And going to let those notifications click in. Again, Truth and Transparency home team. Here we go. Our pleasure, Lana. Love being here. Thanks, Mike Droppin. Jeremiah. JJ. Love you. All right, let's do this. Here we go. Intro. And then got some good stuff for you guys. I can never forget my Midwest people. That's where I'm from. So here you guys go.
Honestly, I feel a little bit lucky knowing that we have somebody and there's a person of interest. Nothing feels worse than having nobody and just nothing but doubt. And 7 weeks of that, or close to 7 weeks of that, was a tremendous amount of pressure on us. And, you know, your children.
This morning, Bryan Kohberger faces 4 counts of first-degree murder.
Moscow, Idaho, the University of Idaho murders. Home Team Productions. Where was the white Elantra for those unaccounted 9 minutes between 2:44 a.m. and 2:53 a.m. according to the probable cause? Is there a secret within the probable cause? 4 college students were murdered in their home where they are supposed to feel and be the safest.
You could imagine, it's just like a nightmare that you just never ever wake up from. There's not a second throughout the day that I don't think about Kaylee and what happened to her. It's sickening.
You know, Steve, it took...
Washington State University Police Department is located at the corner of Olympia Ave and Grimes Way. At 2:44 a.m. Northeast Nevada Street is where you can see suspect vehicle 1. It dead ends into Rogers Hall, or the option is to turn left onto Olympia Ave, which will take you directly to WSU Police Department. Or if you were coming from the police department on WSU's campus, you'd be able to, quote-unquote, head north on Northeast Nevada Street, just as the PCA states. Only problem, the car is at the location again at 23. Truth and Transparency believes it has located the missing minutes of SB1 and why the PCA is worded the way that it is on page 7. Suspect vehicle 1 appears to be possibly making a back and forth trip to WSU Police Department. All right, again, guys, welcome. Here we go. I want you guys to take a look at this. 2 things to note in the PCA when reviewing the movements. If you go to page 7, investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University campus located in Pullman. A review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 a.m., On November 13th, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as suspect vehicle 1, was observed on WSU surveillance cameras. So at first they're saying one video, but now they say cameras. Traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street. Now this has always hung us up because of the way that they were talking about the way that you would travel until went ahead and did after looking into the possible internship program and is there a chance that if Bryan Kohberger was an intern being at the WSU camp police department but also just in general, where was the WSU police department located on this campus in retrospect to everything else. Now, this is Southeast Nevada Street right here. The only way you can head north on Southeast Nevada Street is coming from like this way. You'd have to come from this way. And that's why it's going to be like north. And then you would make a left onto Northeast Stadium Way, which is right down here, which is the 270 Main Street. East Main Street is 270. And that's what it says later on, or it says that at approximately 2:53. So I said, what's up with these 9 minutes? These unaccounted 9 minutes, because it's basically putting yourself at the same location. Okay. And so went ahead and looked. Thought it was very interesting that it is spelled differently, but those of you guys that have been following around like Papa Rogers and all that, talk, well, I will go ahead and just point this out for you, that the dorm, this hall right here, Rogers Hall, now either when the car is seen right here at 254, but it's heading, like I said, it's heading north, which means it had to come from somewhere. Okay. You're not just like, you can't just place a car down. All right. So where was it prior to? And they try to say that it was a tower that was also a tower that the Kohberger residence would hit off of. Well, guess what else the Kohberger residence would hit off of, as well as that tower right here at the corner of Grimes and Olympia, which is the WSU Police Department. Now, we can't talk about any of this because then you're going to be talking about the fact of, is it possible that this vehicle was coming out of the police department parking lot? Sure. Right. I mean, is it possible? Well, yeah, because where's the car before, And then I did some more research on how long of a trip was this. So let me back out a little bit. All right. So what I did was I put in, let's say that you start at Rogers Hall, that area. Okay. Because that would be that we're on Northeast Nevada Street. So we're going to start there because that's where it says it sees it at 244. But let's go ahead and drive, if we drove to the police department, and then back. So I did that. And I said, okay, well, let's actually start from, if we started from the police department, we went to Rogers Hall because we'd be on Northeast Stadium Way. You can also then make a loop and come this way, which would be heading like northeast on Northeast Stadium Way to make like a loop around. But that's going to be a 7-minute trip. So if you left the police department and from leaving the police department to get down here to Rogers to be on Nevada Street, that's going to take you 2 minutes. So that'd be 242. So then here you're at 244. Then now you go back because either you forgot something or you want to just be seen, on these cameras with this vehicle. And then you come back down because on your second trip, it says the same thing, was observed traveling on Southeast Nevada Street. So it doesn't say what direction on the second time that they talk about it. Again, when this was first put in here, it didn't make any sense. So, and they want to talk about the fact that they believe that his vehicle was at the house. Well, to get where this is down here from where his house or his apartment is, it's not enough minutes. Okay. But if you just do what I just did there and you look at the minutes, all right, it's equivalent to what we're missing. Rogers Hall, and that's actually on Northeast Nevada Street. So to go back, if you forgot something, if you were working, if you were at the police department for whatever reason, but why wouldn't they use any other cameras over here? You have tons of other cameras to pick from. And in fact, you would have right across from the police department is a building that actually has a camera. But I didn't realize that where, in fact, Nevada Street was until I started researching and thinking about the whole Bryan Kohberger being associated in any way possible with the police department. So I know on this, if you actually look at all the possible cameras that would be available, there are tons of cameras between Steptoe and this point of where they started, where they say that they have this white Elantra. Why aren't they talking about anything to do with the white Elantra prior to down here on Nevada Street? That tells me that they don't want to be putting it in, just like there's other things that they don't want to put in. Again, is this for certain? No. But does it fit? Does it fit with the missing minutes? Absolutely. It absolutely fits. So just trying to show you guys where the WSU Police Department is. And the reason it says 7 minutes, guys, like that, is because I have it going Rogers Hall back and forth, just like it was doing over there, according to the King residence. It passed by a couple times, right? Well, here, did you leave? Did you forget something? Did you want to be on police camera? Did you want to be in the police department? Again, these are just all things that are plausible, possible, and you're putting a vehicle in the same spot 9 minutes apart. So again, that's on page 7. Just want to show you where the police department was. And they don't ever say that Kohberger was, they don't have him at his residence, guys. They have him they have a phone that's on a cell tower. Okay. So where's the surveillance? Okay, you have this white Elantra though now on, because you don't have the cell phone anymore, because it says it was turned off, but you have this white Elantra that you found that's over here, on Nevada Street. Well, where was it before Nevada Street? I mean, it just says like, poof, there it is. They got a ton of cameras. All college campuses have a ton of cameras. This would be no different. So I don't know who TA is over there in the Rogers building and the Rogers Hall. But next, we got to talk about it, guys. Page 15. Doesn't make any sense. Is this his drive to the house or his drive? This is what I'm showing here is where WSU Police Department is. and it is on the corner of Grimes and Olympia Way. And Olympia Way is the only way from there. And why you would be ever passing Grimes, because if you go further in the PCA, they talk about Grimes, and why he would ever be taking that type of a way. And the WSU Police Department is over there. It's right there. So what you guys have just looked at right here is taking the point in the PCA, Southeast Nevada Street. So in order for you to be heading north, you'd have to be coming up this way. So the way that's possible is when you're coming down Olympia Avenue, okay, and you make a right, you'd be heading southeast Nevada Street, you'd be heading north on it. And then you would make a left, and then you're right here. This is the 270. Okay. The only way to be heading north on southeast Nevada Street is to be coming from down here. But how do you come from down here? You come from Olympia Ave. Well, where's Olympia Ave at? Well, why would you even be on Olympia Ave? That is not the way that you would come from Bryan Kohberger's apartment to get down there. Oh, wait, what's up at Olympia Ave? Oh my God, it's at the corner of the WSU Police Department. Get the fuck out of here. Wow. So again, if you're looking at now, we'll add a destination. We'll put in step 2. Okay. And we'll delete this and delete that. Okay. See, you would just take Northeast Stadium Way. See that? That's how you would come, from the Steptoe Apartments. Even if you decided to go this other way, it would still put you on, right? You would never be heading north. See, how are you getting on camera heading north on this street right here? The only way that that's possible is by coming from down here. So again, they don't ever say, they just say that it's consistent with a tower, that the Steptoe Apartments. Okay. Well, Steptoe Apartments are going to be hitting off the same tower is the police department over here. And also, it makes way more sense if you're leaving the Steptoe Apartments at the 2:42 time, how do you get from Steptoe Apartments down to Nevada Street in 2 minutes? Because then you're seen on camera at 2:44. That's impossible because it takes you 6 minutes to get there. But guess what? He did shut his phone off when he left somewhere. He shut his phone off. If it is Bryan, he shut his phone off when he left the police department. And that's a 2-minute drive to then be on camera on Nevada Street at 2:44 from shutting his phone off at 2:42. Or I'm sorry, his phone last pinged at 2:47. I do apologize. 2:47 was his last ping. So again, you're down there and you have at the 2:44 mark, you have 9 minutes that he's back in the same spot. How is that possible? How are you heading north? I just explained it. So %, the stream is fine. Trolls. Don't you guys know how people troll now? So anyways, all right, let's talk about it. Page 15. Investigators, this is page 15. Investigators found that the 8458 phone did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th, 2022. But investigators do not believe the 8458 phone was in Moscow that day. That is, why would you put that? Why would you guys put that in a probable cause? Again, investigators found that the 8458 phone did not connect to a cell tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th. So then that would be that Monday. But investigators do not believe that the phone was there that day. Well, why would they think this? What do they have to make them think this? Exactly. Makes all cell tower evidence not credible. So when I was going through this, I said, why in the world would they ever put this in here? All it says is, this is just the little snippet. You guys can see it on the thumbnail. I put it out there. Investigators found that 8458 phone did not connect to a cell phone tower that provides service, or it did. I'm sorry, it did connect to it, but investigators do not believe that the 8458 phone was in Moscow that day. What do they have up there? You know, why would you ever put that in, in here? Think about that. Think about that. I'm going to post it up here for you guys to see. So you're going to write all this stuff about like everything to do with this digital evidence, the circumstantial digital evidence. And then you're going to say, but on November 14th, his phone connected to a tower in Moscow, but we don't believe that the phone was there. And that's it. That's all it says. And it's like, well, what? That basically blows everything else up. Like, what are you talking about? And why don't they think, the better question is why don't they think that the phone was there? If it's paying off of a cell tower, and just like you did the whole case to like get this guy, right? But then you want to say, well, hey, Jim, we got to talk. Me and the other guys, we think that this is not, it's pinging there, but we don't believe that it's there. Why do you think that? What do you know? What do you know? Why would you think that? What do you have as to your, hey, it's pinging there, but we don't think that the phone's there. So then I thought about it. Because, you're basically blowing up your case within the PCA. Why would you write that? Why would you need to even put that in there? Why would you even mention that? I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. So you guys can actually see it in writing. Some people work better that way. So here we go. You do this whole, you got 18 pages, okay? I talk about a lot of pages. And it is literally following a cell phone off of towers, and camera surveillance. And then we get to the page 15, and right here, investigators found that the 8458 phone did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th, 2022. But investigators do not believe, he's not saying he, by the way, Payne, okay? He's saying, but investigators do not believe the 8458 phone was in Moscow that day. Why even put those two sentences even in there? Why even write this in here? Did they forget that it was in there? I mean, so think about it. We're going to use our heads here. So let's say that Boston, she's in chat right now. Let's say that Boston's at my house right now. All right. And I see her at my house modding away with her phone. She's using her cell phone to mod. And someone's like, hey, Boston was, down at Ohio State's campus, just partying it up all night, and I'm like, what are you talking about? She was sitting in my living room modding all night, a bunch of drunks on the internet. And I'm just kidding. Well, how do you know that? Well, because she was with me. She was, okay, so she's with you, but her phone's pinging over there. Like it's pinging off a cell tower right at this bar, Well, I don't know how that's possible. That broad's been with me all day and she was modding all night. And she was using her phone? Yeah. I mean, that's what she uses when she mods. She uses her phone. Holy shit. Well, look at this. It's saying it's pinging off of this tower over here, 15, 20 minutes away. Well, I don't know how that's possible because I'm telling you, she was in my living room modding. So just think about that. Okay. Now, the reason that I know this is because I'm saying, hey, the girl is with me. She has her phone. Like, I don't know how it possibly wasn't she was not over there. I don't know how it's doing that, right? So what do investigators have to be able to say that, yeah, it may have pinged there on the 14th, but we don't believe that 8458 phone was in Moscow? Now, going through everything that they talk about in the PCA is you basically are living and dying with Bryan Kohberger being connected to that cell phone. Like, I'm sorry, not the cell phone, but the white Elantra. Like, the white Elantra and Bryan, or like that's everything in this case of you putting him on this white vehicle. But now you have a page 15, that you're saying that his phone was pinging, but his phone really wasn't there. Investigators don't believe his phone was really there, but it was pinging over there. Well, doesn't that just blow up your whole case? With all the circumstantial stuff that you just put together in the previous 14 pages? And I think it more goes to the secrecy around why you're even saying it, when you're saying, but investigators do not believe the 8458 phone was in Moscow that day. Why don't you believe it? What do you have? Do you have him on camera somewhere? Do you have him? Yeah. Did they have eyes on him elsewhere? Okay. And you guys, the reason that this matters is because the whole PCA is about, you know, his phone, saying that he shut his phone off at 2:47 a.m. It was on before that, and it was off of a tower that is consistent with the tower that his residence uses. Well, that could be he could be anywhere. He could be at his home, or he could have been somewhere else, as long as it's within that radius. Then we got to start talking about like trigonometry and like triangulating stuff. But why even mention that? Why even mention that? Why even mention that? And then we're going to talk about this other white elephant, guys. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're definitely going to be doing triangulations up. It's in there. They need to be doing that. But I want to know how this where did they get the footage? I'm back, so I'm good. But I'm trying to mess with my cell towers over here, so don't mind me. Totally kidding, guys. Totally kidding. I did. It bounced over there. Okay. Back here. So on that Sunday, okay, they claim that they didn't know about Bryan Kohberger until December 23rd, right? That's what some people want us to believe. But on that Sunday, which would have been, the murders are on November 13th, when did they go and obtain any of the footage, all the camera footage that they have over in at the grocery store, the coffee place? How are they getting this footage that's well over a month old? So I was, thinking about I'm like, wow. They didn't even, go ask the any of the gas stations in Moscow for any of their, camera footage or whatever. But yet they went 40 or 50 miles away and were asking for footage from these, establishments where there was a white Elantra in the parking lot being seen, and then Kohberger's in a grocery store buying items. I mean, when did this happen? Because that was obviously, I mean, when did they go and get these cameras, the footage? So this is what comes back to when I say, when were they on Bryan Kohberger? Okay, when were they on Bryan Kohberger? Uh, when was he your guy? And you got this footage that you get past 30 days, which you hear all the time is, oh, my stuff gets, written over, or after a month you can't get it. So if it was December 23rd, I mean, what you're going to have to talk about this. You're going to have to talk about like these dates that you got all this stuff. You're investigating a quadruple homicide, and this PCA has no dates on when anything was done. And not that saying that, I guess it doesn't have to, because guess what? They got it signed, right? But you're gonna have to talk about everything to do with your methods, when you did this, when you did that, and then everything when you talk about the phone. They're gonna have that's gonna be very, very, very important, because if anybody's familiar with the towers and stuff like that, I mean, GPS is your precise location. If you're using towers, you're pinning to an area, okay? And it's going to be off of like the strongest signal, not necessarily the closest signal. There's just a lot that goes into it. And then on top of it all, the last page there, or the 15th, page 15, they just throw in these two sentences to say, oh, his phone pinged, but we don't believe that his phone was there. It's like, why don't you believe that? But why even write that? Why even put that in there? Just like, why even talk about the dog? It's like they were writing this as they were going along. Do you guys know what I'm saying? It's like this is being written like day by day, not like, here's our, we have our person, now let's write up this probable cause. It's a diary, says All Sane. They have to have evidence otherwise. Making a square peg fit into a circular hole. So I'm going to go one step further to talk about, yeah, they didn't have that yet. Absolutely. Let's talk about this search warrant. Let's talk about search warrants. For example, in order for them on December 23rd, okay, when they said that he said he filled out and he was granted a search warrant for, to be able to do historical data based off of that phone number. What did you put in that search warrant? What did you say on December 23rd at that point? What did you write in that search warrant to be able to say, hey, we want to use this number that we got off of a ticket, or he gave it to a police officer? We want to use this number to see where it was 24 hours before and 24 hours after the murder. Oh, thank you. You guys, this is a probable cause that they don't have to give us shit, but guess what they have to do? They're going to have court with this. Okay? They're going to go to court. There's going to be a hearing. Why do you think she wanted more time? Why do you think she was pretty, descriptive in what she wanted for the discovery? That was no generic written up, okay, yeah, everybody asks for this stuff. Absolutely not. Did you guys see the Delphi discovery request get released? How did that look compared to this? What do you think? That is when they will show their cards. Absolutely. Absolutely they will, right? So just something I want to remind you guys of, which is this whole FBI cast that they did. It's been, it was a 2017 case that it all got thrown out. It wasn't even, what was it? It was,
They found cast to not be something that was admissible.
Yeah, it was inadmissible. So the methodology on, and this will be at the probable cause because it's all in it with these experts that talk about it. But the defense can impeach the methodology used. And if it can be impeached, then the link between Kohberger and the car and Kohberger and the house will be dead in the water, pretty much. Also, if you can move the time of death, depending on what they're, saying it's from, and if there really is a witness to say that the DoorDash actually talked to Xana, things like that, but versus just dropping it off. But if you're able to keep that window of what they originally said, 3 to 4, you have that white Elantra that's just making its way out of WSU's campus at 253. So basically this PCA, they have locked Kohberger into the car. So if you shake the car and Kohberger, if you shake that tree, you're going to lose your whole connection to this case to him. That car is everything. That's why I think it's important to to talk about that the first time that we see him or this car rather on any surveillance cameras is at 2:44 and where it is at. His car just doesn't just get dropped on a point on a map. Like he had to get in his car somewhere. And if you think that he left his residence, then all the cameras that you would come across from the point of him leaving his residence to Nevada Street, there's got to be something there. But to have it 2:44, you have him on surveillance there at the corner or heading, north on a street that you wouldn't be heading north coming from your house. That's just not physically possible. And then you have the 9 minutes where he's kind of back in the same damn spot. And it's like, what the hell's going on? So I think if there's more people involved, I think that would be important to find that out and figure that out, especially if anything that he used, if he's the guy, if anything to do with his abilities as being a teacher or an intern or whatever aided him, wouldn't you want to know that so that would help for future, so this wouldn't happen again? And that's what Kaylee's dad was talking about. I agree that if that was the car, the DNA would be, there'd have to be something in there, right? That's what's her name was screaming. Nancy Grace from the top of her lungs. Once I get that car, there's going to be all types of shit in that car. That's what she was, she was like, you can't tell me. And I was laughing and I was just like, well, look at OJ's Bronco. There was like literally like a speck of it on the middle console. Like, did you see that crime scene? And for me, that was always a hang up in the OJ case was the Bronco. He didn't have time to clean that Bronco. Where's all the blood? What's up, Carrie? How are you? What's up, Jennifer? All right, you guys, I'm going to look at chat here. I haven't been looking at chat. I want to share this screen again because I took it down. There you go. Now even DNA does not show BK did it. Well, we'll find out. I mean, I want the right people. I believe in our U.S. Constitution. Like I believe in, innocent until proven guilty, because I think that if you have the right person, the evidence is going to show that. Thank you. Welcome. What's up, LMB? When you have the right person and you have the evidence, it's like it's secret society right now. And I get the whole, like, you don't want to play your hand so nothing can happen. I understand all of that. But when you read a warrant that gets sealed and you read stuff about like people, like imminent danger, if this was to get out, like that, those are some very serious words, guys. Very serious. He's sitting in a big black trash bag, undressed. Evan, so you guys talking about OJ. I just think OJ and Bryan Kohberger situation is similar in terms of like, you want to talk about all this time. There was no time to do all this and be meticulous before you got into a vehicle. If you sped off and you know, you're running out of there, getting in a car. So just that time is not there. I mean, it would have been there, but it's not there because of when it's saying it's driving away. Also, it takes 16 minutes to get, or less, to get from 2:53 a.m. It should just take you 16 minutes to get into campus. That puts you there before, way before 3:15, but you're not on camera until 3:29. Like, what's going on here? Now, again, those of you guys that are just joining us, this is the, if you're looking at the PCA, again, I just want to point out, because I think this is really, really important. I think this is why you wouldn't talk about it in the PCA, because you don't want to be mentioning, where this person could possibly be coming from, or at least this vehicle, or if there's multiple vehicles. I mean, it says suspect vehicle 1. I got to go with everything that I've ever learned in life. If you're labeling something suspect vehicle 1, you don't label it that unless there's a 2 or like a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6, witness 1, if there was only one witness, the eyewitness saw blah, 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 the eyewitness 1 saw blah, blah, blah. Well, is there an eyewitness 2? No, we just named it the eyewitness 1 though. Like, think about that. But yeah, in the PCA on page, again, for those just joining us, it was on page 7. So ask paragraph. Investigators were given access to video footage on Washington State University campus. And so here, this is what this is. And if you blow it up, we're looking at Nevada. Well, this would be the way that you would go. Steptoe Apartments to get down. You would never be heading north on Nevada Street. It gets just, you'd have to like do something else. What I mean by that is this really small street right here, Southeast Nevada Street. It's just like this. It goes from here to this way. Like, that's it. He could be back down in here, but this is all like parking. Like, you're trapped. Okay, you can't get through. So if you're heading north, you're coming, up. And the way that's possible is you can come from Olympia Ave, make a right on Southeast Nevada Street, and that would make you be traveling north. Okay. And then what I went ahead and looked at is I said, oh, what's on Olympia Ave? Well, 2 minutes down the road, not even. Right here at the corner of Olympia Ave and Grimes. Oh my goodness, it's the WSU Police Department. No fucking way. Yeah way. And so then I went ahead and I did this. I said, okay, well, let's check this out. He likes to make loops, or somebody does. So let's go with police department. And then add another one. So if you were, let's say you were working. So you're at the police department, then you were about to leave and you go down Olympia. Then you're like, shit, I forgot something at work. So it's 11 minutes to do that. But if you take away the first 2 minutes, it's 9 because it takes you 2 minutes from the police department to get down to Olympia, which is Nevada Street, basically. Let me see if I restart this, if it will do it for you guys. But that takes you 9 minutes to do. If you take away the first 2 minutes, if you take away that first part and you started actually on that camera that they put you on. So I believe that there's a strong possibility that that white Elantra, whose ever it is, or whatever this vehicle is, that they're pegging to be Bryan Kohberger's, this suspect vehicle number 1. Like, I was like, where are they getting this from? Like, they just like picked this out of the sky. You know what I mean? Well, if this actually left the police department, because this vehicle was at the police department, I was like, holy shit. I was like, well, you know, you go down and you realize you're like, either you forgot something, or you wanted to go back. But if it was really Bryan coming from his house, why wouldn't he would be on one of these cameras up over by his apartment? There's so many over there. You'd be able to backtrack that white vehicle back all the way to his, almost really, really close to his address, you know? You guys, college campuses have lots of cameras. That's one thing that they do have. Okay, for safety reasons. And when you read this, what it says is that the phone pinged off of a tower that the residence uses. Well, that doesn't mean he's at his residence. Hey, what's up, Dana? Thank you for the super chat. And yes, I think a lot of people are aware of that post, but saying that that's his family, that's a stretch. But yeah, I think people are aware of that being his, or that post is there. So people ask me like what my theory is. My theory is right now is to sort out all the evidence. I think a lot of things just don't make sense. I think that shooting that happened on that campus, on WSU's campus, that doesn't make sense to me. I think when you pulled that guy's information, you would have known that he served our country, and they would have done everything they possibly could have to not inflict deadly force. You know, they said that they had that whole apartment cleared out, not just the quote unquote hostages. So I think everything surrounding that. I do know that in 2020, WSU Police Department has had issues with males that are on the police department force having sex with college students, having sex with other coworkers. That stuff was trying to be hush-hushed. So again, I'll be talking about that in a completely separate live, but anybody that serves our country in any capacity, especially the military, Marine, I mean, it's just, you would think that you would do anything that you could to resolve that without a death, a fatality. And it's sad to see that it couldn't have been handled that way. Because like I said, they said that all the residents were out of that building and that the hostage situation was no longer a hostage situation. And so it's just him. Um, so it's really sad to hear that it couldn't have been rubber bullets or, you know. It's really sad to see people struggling, you know, vets that come back and struggle. And you know, something I said is we have all these problems with our schools, or I don't really want to say problems, but it's devastating when you hear about a school shooting, you know, anything happening in a school where our kids go and they're supposed to be safe. And I was thinking, I was like, well, why don't we protect our school with, you know, for giving like vets a job when they come back, that's something that they feel that they're giving, that they're important, and that their skill set can be used to protect our kids and our schools, because that's all they kind of know is to protect us, you know, civilians, and to give them something like that. And our schools need it. So to implement a program like that, I think that would probably help our schools, our kids, and our vets. But yeah, it's just you look at the names that were involved and some of the stuff over there at, you know, WSU with. So yeah, waiting to see all the evidence and stuff like that. But I can tell you what I think about the PCA is, yeah, of course it's only a PCA, but it's a very, very, you know, by far interesting. You know, where do you come up with Bryan Kohberger? Where do you get that name from? I've been saying that since day one. Where do you get Bryan Kohberger's name from? Okay, it just doesn't come from a white Elantra, you guys. It's just not. Okay, and stop believing everything you hear on the media. Shit, the damn police officers lied to us. They told us that there's stuff that wasn't true, you know? So not everything. I want you guys to think on your own and don't think that you're wrong, and ask questions. That's the problem is, you know, we have the right to know some stuff. We have if Bryan Kohberger's apartment needed to be sealed, the search warrant, okay, because of the reasons that they listed, that's some serious shit. That's some serious shit. And you're not doing that just because a wall could possibly have all the victims' pictures on it. You know, that's not why you're doing that, because that's to be expected. You know, it was targeted, right? Yeah, no, that's not why that would be sealed. He knows something. He's plotted things through using something. That holy shit, he did it, you know, this way. So it's, now think about this. Think about you're looking for a white Elantra and you realize, holy shit, some of our interns drive white Elantras, you know? But where does Bryan Kohberger's name come from? Yeah, thanks, JJ. We'll hit that thumbs up. Hopefully you're feeling better. Lana, love your channel, and your theme music is so fitting for the content. Love, love, love. Well, good. Check out my Delphi theme music. See if you like that. I believe in each case should have its own little song or music. And then think about, you know, to be able to put a circumstantial case together like they did. It's like they said here's the guy, now make it fit. Because you guys you know how hard it is to get camera footage after a month old? So if you weren't on to Bryan Kohberger until December 23rd, how are you getting that Washington footage? How would you be able to track down that he went there on that day? Like, do you hear how like crazy that is? Because I could see if you did it that day or that next day or that even like that damn couple days afterwards. But if you come across somebody's name and you're like, okay, well, we have to go back through. Okay, let's go get the footage from WSU and let's look and see where this white Elantra is at certain times. Oh no, that's why we pulled his historical data. Okay. So you're able to ping it to off of a tower. Nowhere in here did they say that they use GPS location. You'd have to physically extract his phone. So I could see you having and getting all that stuff like right afterwards, but to get the stuff that they did when they got it, well, I just think that's crazy. I think that's pretty impressive. Well, Carrie Little says that BK comes from the depths of hell. That's where his name came from. Satan spawns. Okay. Thank you, Carrie. That just made me spit out my water. Yeah. Nikki says law enforcement has way more information than they are revealing to the. You guys, it's not about the information that they have. I have no issues with the information. So maybe I need to say this a different way. You guys, they could have all the information in the world on any person. I want to know how they got to Bryan Kohberger to then go and get all this information. Okay. You don't look at a neighbor's phone. You don't look at a neighbor's hey, let me check out your Ring camera. Okay, great. Let me check it out. Holy shit. Okay, so like 6 different cars came back here. We can't see who's getting out of them. Okay, that looks like that one's a truck. This one's this. Okay, let's say that we have the 6 vehicles. All right. You guys, it wasn't just like there was a white Elantra that was driving back through there. There was multiple cars. Okay, so then, oh my God, okay, so it's a white Elantra. We can't see anybody. Okay, so we have this white Elantra. Oh, we can't make out any of the plates. Okay. Like, why are they saying that the plate in the front it didn't have a front plate? Like, what if it was just covered? Or what if the person took it off? Just think about this. So you have all this and we came across some DNA. There's 150 people in that house the night before. That house wasn't cleaned. So how do you get to Bryan Kohberger? Where does that name come from? So think about it. You have to interview all these people, right? The friends of the victims, the families. You have to take their cell phones and you extract them and you dig through these cell phones. Because that's what you're looking for. Like, or right away, were they like, oh my God, we're dealing with a serial killer? Patricia says, need to find out what Maddie told Adam. Might match the drug theory and the story the mom of one of the students told. You guys, it still doesn't talk about like Bryan, Kohberger. There wasn't a 150 party that night. There wasn't, or there was. They were pre-gaming at that house with all the pictures. If you guys had seen them, they were pre-gaming on Friday night at that house. Then they were pre-gaming for the football game and then going to the apartments over there. But you have a college house. You have people in and out all the time. There's going to be a shit ton of DNA all over that place of different people. Okay. So then you come across this sheath that has whatever it has on it. And it's not in your system. So you have unidentified male DNA. Then what? For them to have what I believe they have, you didn't get Bryan Kohberger's name on December 23rd to then arrest him on December 29th. And I'll do a breakdown video of each day and what you would think the investigation was doing at that point, because there's so much stuff that you have to do that you're dealing with, like just the crime scene alone. But then you get a bunch of tips, but then you have a bunch of interviews and you have a bunch of people that, are working for the police department. And then just because you interview this person and I interview this person and that's going around and around and around, then somebody has to have all the stuff to then, okay, start breaking it down. And all right, what do we got here? Yeah, Moonfish, there you go. Oh, when I heard about the arrest of Bryan Kohberger, I thought to myself, where did this guy come from? Julie says, Lana, where do you think his name came from? I think for as quickly as they have his name, somebody coughed up that name. Somebody gave that name up. Now, could it be you're not getting Bryan Kohberger, in my opinion, from a white Elantra. Because you wouldn't be there yet. You wouldn't be there yet. Because also think about this way. Just as much as you got the WSU footage that you have to go through, that you want to go through. I mean, you know how many cameras you have to look at? Have you guys ever looked at surveillance cameras and just seriously sat there and gone through that? I mean, that's what they would need, the 46, 42 FBI agents. Okay, here, you're taking this camera, you're taking that camera, but they weren't even going around and asking for the footage of places. The gas station person, they went, we didn't even know if they were looking for a white Elantra. They knew that the white Elantra was a vehicle that was seen at the time of what, between 3 and 4? Well, that white Elantra was seen after 4, though. And there's people that have white Elantras that live right around there. I'm just saying, the process of elimination, you could get to Bryan Kohberger, but it's going to take some time. They did this lickety split. So I was trying to grab that question that someone just wrote up. Do I think about the DoorDash? I don't believe that they have the plates, by the way. If they had the plates, they wouldn't be listing the car as suspect vehicle 1. They'd be listing it the same way they're listing the phone, which is they would just use the plate number. I think it's no big secret Bryan Kohberger drives a white Elantra. But there's going to be other cars that drove back there. Okay? And so a white Elantra doesn't kill anybody. So people kill people. So there's other cars that are driving back and forth there, Oh, there was only one that sped off at, 420. Okay, well, hypothetically speaking, let's say it's a white Elantra that Sue Miller drives, and Sue Miller goes over there to get some, I don't know, cocaine. And when she goes in there and she sees somebody, like, she's there, then they witness somebody's like dead. Wouldn't you run the fuck up out of there too and get the hell out of there? I know I would. I'd be scared at the age of 20, 21, 19. And then it's like I said, like placing that time of death. The integrity of this case is going to be really interesting. I want who's ever involved, whoever did it. I want everybody that had anything to do with this to be 100% held accountable, because this is it's unfathomable. If you have kids, you know, your kids are at home, they're supposed to be safe. I don't believe that he called the DoorDash from his phone. Like, okay, like in Allen's probable cause, this magic bullet. Okay. So I went and looked at what's his name's probable cause. The dude that died in the Delphi case that they thought was Bridge Guy, the guy's house. What was his name? Logan. Okay, so I looked at his probable cause. Okay. For a search warrant of his house and stuff like that. No mention about any guns or anything like that. And then it came to Allen's, and there was a mention of like this one lone bullet. But your PCA is going to be like you want to arrest the person, right? So you have to have it enough that you can make the arrest. Okay. But something about this, there's like a secret. It's like there's a secret out there. And I think what puts a stamp on that is the sealing of the apartment and the wording of why they're sealing it. That it would be, the public would be in chaos, basically, because we wouldn't either have faith in our police department or that the lives of these police officers would be in imminent danger. I know that I wouldn't write one unless there was more than one. You would just say suspect vehicle. So to say suspect vehicle 1, I mean, I don't know if they're going to be trying to say like, well, he could have also been in this car because he owns this car. You know what I mean? Yeah, those are very scary words. Again, Joe, my other thought with some of the stuff that's going on is, again, how do you get to Bryan Kohberger? Because that's really important to be able to even, like, when you're talking about how do you get to him, and then, okay, we didn't really follow him, then we just kind of showed up in PA. Like, if you guys believe that, that's totally your prerogative. But he was just randomly pulled over within a 10-minute time frame in Indiana, and Dateline's trying to tell us that the FBI, in their context, said that they had nothing, like, they didn't have eyes on him, and they didn't tell Indiana to pull him over. And well, all I keep thinking about is, well, you want me to believe that after you told me that Dylan slept downstairs, after I knew that she slept upstairs? And I was like, fuck this. I'm just going to prove it. It just, that's the thing that just sucks, is that when you hear something, it's not even mainstream media. It's I go to interview somebody and they're just gonna downright lie to me and say, you know, why not just say, no comment. We can't talk about that because it's gonna, you know, I'd rather have you say, I have no comment on the case because of the integrity of it. I have to keep it where it's at. And I could be like, okay, I can respect that. And then you want to come out and tell us that you're looking for a white Elantra. You fuckers have the white Elantra. Like, what are you talking about? So why would you want to flood the gates of the tip line with all this useless bullshit? That doesn't make any sense to me. But it does if you have an agenda. Absolutely it does. You want to give all these people, when you want someone to look the other way, you give them a reason. Okay, hey guys, we're looking for a white Elantra. We're looking for a white Elantra. Okay? We're looking for a white Elantra. And then you hear Dateline say what their source says, and I was just rolling about it. I'm like, who believes this shit? People believe this? And it's not like Dateline. So, I mean, this is what the people are saying, to them. Yeah, no, our FBI source says that, November 29th, they had found that, that white Elantra, but it had gotten backed up in the tips. What? Police officers are calling in the tip line? Come on. But you have a personal relationship with the police department that's literally like your neighboring department who came and like literally asked you to keep an eye out on something. Okay, hey, yeah, we came across that. And the way that Payne writes it, it's like that they came right to it, like that these officers came like right to him to say, hey, so when you think about that, you're like, well, guys, it makes way more sense. Like, let's be honest. If you came across his name earlier, right? At the time frame of stuff, right? But then I just have the $1 million question, which is, why the hell didn't you just ask the guy? Here he is. He's a PhD student. He's a TA. He's a teacher. Hey, we're going through all the white Elantras and we came across, you have one. Do you care if we ask you a couple questions where you were? And, maybe that did happen because we don't know because it isn't, maybe it did happen. But do I think it happened? No, I don't. But see, I think that's where my hang up is. It's like, when they were given that name somehow, they knew who this person was. And see, I think that goes with the whole, was he an intern and what did he do? And why would anybody stay fixated on a dweeb dork PhD professor at the school, that has an impeccable, record with school and all this stuff? Because he just fit that of an incel. Like, come. When you laugh and cuss something, yeah. Ooh. It's just, why I heard people say, like, no, they knew that they were dealing with like the psychopath. Like, why would they're not gonna tip their hand. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Tip hands? You want to get anything you can on the record from someone like that because then you can use it against them. If he was to ever like slip up and change his story, you'd have something. Also, why would he be running for the hills if you want to know about his damn white Elantra? Okay. Even ask him the question of as, we're asking people to come forward. If they own one, you didn't come forward. Who's to say that he didn't come forward and say, yeah, hey, I own a white Elantra. I'm in that area. I mean, again, we don't know any of this. Did they come up with his name because he injected himself into the investigation? You know, maybe he did. But that name, Bryan Kohberger, did not come from them. There was no tips to be sniffed through until, December 7th. But they knew about it day one. And they asked the public for help. But it was after they already had Bryan Kohberger's. But then they want to say, oh, no, but we didn't know that we had that one yet. Okay, so then if that's true, do you understand all the discovery when it gets turned over? They're going to have to show like, well, hey, yeah, we have these printouts. This is what we were looking at. These are the people like that we had ever called and talked to them about their white Elantra. Like all this discovery that they're talking about is going to be the stuff that they, came across during their investigation. It's not just, here's everything to do with Bryan. No, it's everything. All 300 of those interviews, hand them on over, all the body cam. Yeah, that's what I said. Like how much, like, you know how much stuff there is? They had a white Elantra convention, and then they're going to have to explain how they got off the, 2011, 2013 to like, okay, now we're going to extend it out to 2015 or 16. I think they extended to 2016. That FBI guy is going to have to explain that on the stand, what surveillance camera he looked at. Because the first one, it's 2011, 2013. Okay. And see, all Bryan Kohberger has to say is, well, I owned a 2015. Why would I come forward? I didn't even own that car because it never got switched to the public. The public, they never said, hey, guys, guess what? We're actually going to extend that out a little bit. We're going to push that out to 2015, 2016. That never happened. There wasn't an update to the, Elantra wanted car, I just think that, everybody should be innocent until proven guilty. Everybody thinks that this, and he may be the biggest monster ever. No doubt. No doubt. But like, think about how emotionally charged everybody is over this case in a lot of cases that are in the, mainstream media. How do you get a fair trial? I'll tell you this right now. Out of all the people that have YouTube channels and the people that are in these channels commenting on the stuff that they're saying, hell no would I ever want them to be on my jury. God, no way. Hang that motherfucker. It's very like, it's like, dude, whoa, yeah. And you guys, trust me, he may be like guilty as sin. Okay. He may be like the sickest person, right? But like everything that we've been told is a lie. Like it was a big secret on where like Ethan and Xana were, and like then where was Dylan that night, and then where's Bethany, and then they weren't moving off they weren't moving the time frame off of when the girls came home, and we saw it on the damn Twitch video. Like they're still at the damn truck at 1:45. You know, it's like, what the hell's going on? You know, it's so this like whole like time that they want to work with. I would be, if I was on the defense, like, how do we know that these crimes didn't happen between 3 and 3:30? And if the only answer is Dylan says that she saw a clad figure, um, versus like the DoorDash person. Well, I brought the food there, and hey, this is the timestamp I was there. Here's my phone, and I physically handed it to so and so. You know, how do we know if there's anybody else that slept over there that night? It doesn't say that in the piece. I mean, we don't. How can you say that everybody was in their respective rooms by 4:00? Who's saying that? That'd be like the last person that would be like out in the main room then, you know? But remember in the beginning, they went downstairs and they were like in bed by 1. They went downstairs and went to sleep. So that's why they didn't hear anything. I mean, just like, again, that's not mainstream media. This is what the police were saying. I mean, and right off the rip, think about this, guys. They said that they right off the rip were like, the hoodie guy has nothing to do with this. You know, remember we were always like, why are they clearing people so quickly? Like, what's going on here? Well, because they already had Bryan Kohberger. Like, well, we didn't know that, right? Think about that. Think about that. Hey, so who is here's hoodie guy. Don't show us Adams them walking from the bar to show that like, okay, they were all together, you know, once the Twitch video went viral, because I don't think they knew about that until it was like viral. But and then within just like literally 2 days, it's like, okay, we're having this press conference. Here we go. Hoodie guy at the grub truck does not have anything, you know. We believe him to, you know, he's cleared. Surviving roommates cleared. Anybody that was involved with the 911 call cleared. Okay. And we're hearing this, and I think, you know, everyone was like, wait, why are they even announcing this publicly that these people are cleared? You know, how do you know this? Well, because they offered up their DNA. And we matched it to what, the sheath? I mean, is that what was happening? But we're all hearing this. And even like the families, you know, Kaylee's family was pretty vocal about that too, saying, well, I think that we're clearing people too quickly. Well, why do they think that? Grammy says they were downstairs asleep and heard nothing. They were not witnesses and they were not the perpetrator. You know, remember that? That's what was said in the in the presser. I want to see the neighbor's camera. I want to see this Ring camera, because I don't even want to see the night like up into it. I want to see that next day. I want to know if that's available. Like when everybody was called over there and what time did people start showing up there and things like that. Because that's what that camera will show too. Oh, 100% when that came back. When the DNA came back. Yeah. That's not talked about in this. And then all you're going to have is you have this unidentified male DNA. That's what you have. Kelly O says, none of it makes sense. Can't begin to make sense of the lies. Yep, they all lied to us. And I think that just develops like what all that is, you know, they had their reasons that, you know, that they obviously did what they did. I think it was to maybe protect, you know, the surviving roommates, right? But what if that was their original story? Okay. And then something wasn't adding up and then they had to like come clean with it. You get what I'm saying? Like that's all going to be in discovery that there was multiple stories if there in fact was, you know, multiple stories. But I just know that some of the, one of the questions I would ask in voir dire would be like, "Do you have a YouTube channel?" I would like to use my Do you have a YouTube account? Do you go on Facebook? Were you in any of these Facebook groups? Yeah, I want to use my what is it? When you can use your no, if I don't want someone to be on the jury. Oh, what's the name of it? I'm in what is it? Help me out, chat. My head's spinning. Let chat deal with it. Yeah, dang, you only get so many of them too. Yeah, I know when you want to not have everyone no, it's not called exception. It's fudge. Anyways. Preemptory strike, isn't that what it is? I'm gonna use my preemptory. Yeah, see? Where are you guys at, chat? Come on, man. I'm over here. I didn't even Google it. Please slow chat more if possible. Oh, there it was. I didn't even see. Maisie had it there too. I didn't even get to see yours. Maybe because chat's just flying. I can slow it down. Yeah, those would be my questions. Do you have a YouTube account? Do you use Facebook? Were you in that Facebook group that, you know, what was it called? The accused something other with. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and invoke this jury challenge here.
CD's here.
Oh, what's up, CD? How are you? Hopefully you're doing well. He didn't mean to leave it behind. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I'll ask the jury. My next question will be like, are you a DoorDasher? Have you ever DoorDashed before? Okay, I definitely want them on the jury. Keep them. We have all lost it. We've gone mad. Have you ever used Snapchat before? Have you ever used TikTok before? Do you know the TikToker that was accusing the woman? All these social media questions. Again, here you go. Yes. What do you consider bushy eyebrows? There you go. That's a good one. We're going to have to go ahead and use a peremptory strike on this one too. When you see this picture, do you think of bush or bushy or both? Oh, good. All right, yeah. So again, I'm rounding out this live. Gosh, I wanted to slow down chat because you're right. It is flying. Oh, you fast chatters. I pushed it to 75 seconds. Have you ever driven a white Elantra before? Strike. They're off the jury. What eyesight do you have? Are you nearsighted, farsighted?
Can you see in the dark?
How many felonies have you committed?
Are you a CI?
Have you ever been a CI before? We're talking about, are you a vegan? That's a good one. Who even says bushy? Chat is fire. Have you ever cloned a phone before? Yeah, I'll strike this person. Have you ever bonged a beer in college? Keep them. What kind of questions are these, Miss Oriani? Yeah, did you go to college? That's a good question. Definitely. Have you ever partied? Have you ever ripped any beer bongs before?
Have you ever had a noise complaint?
Yeah. Have the cops ever cited you for a noise complaint? Have you ever done a ride along? Bushy is 70s talk. You have a black Elantra? Mm. Yeah, why is 40 FBI agents brought in so fast? Yeah. Well, yeah, I just think that on my next live that I'm going to do, because I'm going to talk about the SWAT over there at WSU. But I want to talk about this, this timeline of Bryan Kohberger in terms of the Dateline version and then the PCA version and then Lana's version, because you just can't plop down a white Elantra on Nevada Street at 2:44 a.m. and then plop it down again at 2:53 a.m. And especially saying that it's heading north on Nevada Street, you can't. Now, do I think that they have it somewhere else before that? Hell yeah, I do. And I think it's coming down Olympia. And I think right there on the corner is the WSU Police Department. Because that to me is what would induce some panic is, if this at all ties back to in any way, shape, or form, the police department on WSU's campus. Lana needs to send out binders before each presentation so we have points of reference for class preparation. I'll make sure that I have as many. I'll have the whiteboard when I do that, though. I'm working actually with my new 3-point. It's not a 3-point turn. It's a 3-point opener. Do you know what I'm talking about? What's it called?
It's like the thing you.
It's like when you went to science class. Here, I'll just show you guys what I bought. Here, go grab one of them over there. Okay, so I decided to enhance some things, and this is everything to do with cell towers. This is the cell tower board, and I was like, you know what? This is not going to cut it. I want something better. So I went and bought. Obviously, I have my whiteboard, but I went and bought this. This huge, it opens up and then it stands. Okay. And it has little flaps, and I feel like I could do the best presentation ever. So I bought a couple of these. And I can then use all my tacks to tack. Oh, there went Linda Street. Linda's down. So
Make sure we don't step on those tacks.
I don't think I go right to my toe. So that's what we're doing over here. Woo. Tacking it up. Science fair project. That's what's happening over here. Do you think the 3-point turns are sus? I mean, I think I'm nervous to hear what all was going on about it. Like, if CD is still in chat, I would love to know what he thinks about the.
He is in chat.
Is he still in chat? I would love.
Absolutely is, but he's on slow mode, so you're gonna have to wait for him. You're gonna have to get him geared up to answer. So ask him, and then.
Well, CD's done, I'm sure his fair share of writing up, a warrant or just paperwork in general, just being around to see the search warrant of the apartment be sealed, but the wording and the language of why. So.
He just said something, so it'll take him.
CD says, I don't feel his 3-point turns was suspect at all. He was trying to figure out where to park and also might have seen the camera on the house. The night vision dots are bright red and can be seen. Yeah, I got to keep my hair under wrap because people get jealous of it. Thank you, Cheryl, for that. I appreciate that. Science fair stuff, definitely. Yeah, something like that. Oh, thanks, Carrie. Appreciate that compliment. I think that it's premature to say what somebody thought that they heard. Because if you heard all of that, then you're going to have to ask yourself the question of why wouldn't somebody in that house help if you heard all of that? Or be calling 911 at the very least. So I think it's going to be a catch-22 with that. I have a video I'm finishing editing of his 3 times then into Elantra. He went onto Elantra to look into the 3rd floor. You can see perfect line of sight. He wanted to see if they were in the bedroom. I would like to know your timestamps that you're putting the routes, because that's what I've been doing based on are you going to put Bryan Kohberger on the car that was seen at the gas station? Because I think either way, if you put it on him or not, that car is there and it looks like it, right? So I think if I was the prosecution, I would be trying to put that like that is him. Because otherwise you're just putting another car in that area that is a very similar description and, driving around. Hey, Miss Purse, how are you? Hopefully you're doing well. I mean, I think he was driving based on the PCA. You have all this time. If you're saying that the murders weren't until 4:06 to 4:17. I mean, who's to say that during any points of the time, maybe the third floor that happened earlier, you know? But I just think it's going to be wild because I think that it is wild. I don't think that this is by any stretch of anything that we're going to be, you know, can compare it to another case. Because a lot of these cases also sometimes don't even go to, you know, trial. But again, this to me is either a master setup or somebody went to some crazy lengths to set this up. Like, you know, he's either being set up or he tried to pull off some crazy shit. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. So again, you guys are always great. Thank you so much. I'm going to be closing this out. You know, I posted earlier, I did a DoorDash this morning just so I could show, you know, what it looks like when it says like received. So I don't know what the police are going off of when they say received, but so go ahead and check out my community post. But I put out, it says received and it was left at my door. So did I receive it? Well, my house received it.
You didn't receive it.
When it said received, I wasn't in possession of that yet. So that's going to be interesting to me if the DoorDash actually handed to somebody, or if it was left. Also, when they're saying that everybody was in their bedrooms at 4:00, I want to know who's saying that. Also, normally guys, they'll go and get the DoorDash like for you. So like Ethan, go grab that. You know what I mean? Like, but was he sleeping? You know? Yep, they sure do. Also, I'm curious on the data with the phones in terms of that Xana was on TikTok at 4:12. Well, did she just click on the application at 4:12? Maybe she attempted to like grab her phone and like to do something with it. If you swipe up, then it like clicked on like the TikTok or whatever. But I don't see anybody being asleep if they just went to bed at 4 and got a DoorDash at 4. I don't see them being asleep for like, you know, I don't see how they'd be asleep. Also, was DoorDash ordered, where was it from? Was it for one person? Was it for two people? Was it something that they normally ordered? You know, if you got, just for example, Jimmy John's and you got 2 turkey toms, you know, the number 7 or 4 or whatever. If you got 2 of those, okay, so you and Ethan. Was it just one order of food for like one person? Freaky fast delivery, yeah. I used to love Jimmy John's in college. See, that's I would disagree. That's why the piece. So according to CD, the PCA was very well written and beyond detailed at 18 pages. They did that for his preliminary hearing because no grand jury. They wanted much as possible against him in there. Well, good, because we disagree on that. And I like when people disagree. That means they're not followers. They have opinions. And because everybody sees something differently. Um, um, the DoorDash delivery isn't who I would be asking anything about. It would just be in the application. The DoorDash delivery person, they most certainly know what the person ordered because they're supposed to check it to make sure that it's correct. But more importantly, your app, the app will tell you the orders that you picked up and what was in them. So that information would be there in that person's, like whoever the DoorDash is. All that they would have to do is turn that over to the police. They would then be able to look at the orders that you took that day in your delivery, and you would come across that delivery and what was on the tickets. So, but I tell you what, DoorDash is getting ridiculously expensive. When I get Chick-fil-A and it's $30 for literally my son's food, I'm like, are you kidding me? Talk about lazy America right here. I mean, that meal costs $8. So we all failed when we did not create the DoorDash app. Grubhub, we all failed. Talk about hand over fist money. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna do it. Thank you guys so much. Rewind it, play back the beginning to see the interesting notes with page 15 as well as page 7, where we're talking about, you're just plopping down this white Elantra at 244. And then again, pretty much in the same location at 253. Look it back, see what you think. If you joined in late, watch it, use the comment section of the video to make yourself known. Tell me what you think. And again, right now I'm 50-50 on, that he was either set up or he did the setting up of all of this, because of the evidence, because of the PCA. I think there's a big secret out there, possibly two. Again, thank you guys so much. You guys rock. Thank you, mods. Thank you, members. Consider being a member. You don't have to, it's on slow-mo. You don't have to wait. So that's one of the perks of being a member. How about I didn't even know that until recently, as in a couple days ago. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, this was definitely, this involved heavy duty planning. And it's just a matter of which way you look at it. But this is like something you've never heard about and seen before. And anybody that thinks that was involved in this needs to be held accountable. This isn't just, and I think that's the one thing that I'd be most scared of is that, okay, well, we can't take down a department or Greek life or whatever, if there was something going on, if there's CIs involved, if I'd want the whole truth of, regardless of what it was, because I think it will help down the road with things like this never happening. And I think that's what Mr. Gonsalves is talking about a lot. So, all right, guys, take care, get some rest, and we'll talk to you later. See, my issue with the sheath is that let's say that he even took it there, you would know to have that whole thing wiped down though. That's my hang up with that. My hang up with that is then also if you have the Elantra and you can't find traces of anything in that Elantra, saying suspect vehicle 1 and just not calling it suspect vehicle. So if the one thing that he wasn't planning for would have been the perfect crime if he didn't leave the sheath, that to me, you would think that that's like, he had gloves on. He wiped it on down before he was ever gonna like go there. So that to me seems like and then just because you have unidentified male DNA, how did that come back to Bryan Kohberger? You still have to get back to Bryan Kohberger. You're going to have this unidentified DNA. And I just question some of the stuff that they said that they've done because of the stuff that they said that they did and they didn't do. But yeah, we'll see you soon. Take care.